I am back with another build, and today we are going to build the latest 4-star character Kaveh. He is Dendro DPS. He is not support, he is pure DPS. So let's talk about his kit. His elemental burst is the main source of his damage, and it cannot be overridden. That means if he leaves the field while his element burst is going on, it will be over. And once you activate his elemental burst, every Dendro core in his elemental burst's AoE will immediately burst. And those Dendro core will deal additional damage, and that damage will depend on his element burst's talent level. At level 9, it will deal more 46.7% damage, and while his elemental burst is going on, his resistance to interruption will increase. His elemental burst will last for 12 seconds, and it has cooldown of 20 seconds. Now that is a big gap, and not to mention it costs 80 energy. His energy recharge is a problem if you don't have any other Dendro character in the team, but if you are using an energy recharge weapon on him, then it will not be a problem. He will explode every Dendro core when you activate his elemental burst. That's how it works. The second talent you need to level up is his elemental skill. Just like his burst, it will also make every Dendro core explode immediately in his area of effect, and it has only 6 seconds cooldown. You should level up his normal attacks as well. The reason for that is, he only uses normal attacks in his elemental burst, so it's very important to level them up. At least level it up to 6. His first passive is very good. As you know, Dendro core deals damage to everyone, but if Kaveh takes damage from it, he will regain HP equal to 300% of his maximum elemental mastery. If he has 300 elemental mastery, then he will regain 900 HP on every Dendro core that hits him, and he can trigger this effect every 0.5 seconds. This is another great passive. When he uses his elemental burst, his every attack will increase his elemental mastery. Each attack will only increase 25 elemental mastery, but he can stack it 4 times. That means he can increase 100 elemental mastery this way, and it will only increase his element mastery while his elemental burst is going on. Because this passive increases his elemental mastery, that means his healing from the Dendro core will also increase, since it depends on his elemental mastery. This last passive is probably for people who use teapot. He can get some wood back if you use him to craft furnishings that he can make. Now let's talk about his constellation. His C1 is very good. It's way better than Baiju's C1. Within 3 seconds after using his elemental skill, his Dendro resistance will increase by 50%. That is a lot. But not only that, the healing he gets from the Dendro core will also increase by 25%. His C1 makes him better. If you want to use Kaveh as your main DPS, you should go for his C1. On C2, his normal attack speed will increase by 15% while he is using elemental burst. This is another great constellation for him. You can deal more damage in his elemental burst this way. His C3 will increase his burst talent level by 3. At his C4, when Kaveh will burst Dendro core that are created by Bloom reaction will get 60% more damage. In simple words, at his C4, he will deal 60% more damage when he bursts Dendro cores. To be honest, his every constellation is very good, and his constellations are way better than Baiju. At C4, he will become great Dendro DPS for Bloom team. C5 will increase his element skill talent level by 3, and his C6 depends on his elemental burst. It will do 2 things. First is, his normal attack will burst every Dendro core he hits. It can only happen once every 3 seconds. And the second thing he will do is, his every attack will deal 61.8% more Dendro damage, and that damage will depend on his maximum attack. His elemental burst lasts for 12 seconds. That means he will trigger this effect 4 times, so this will make him a very quick Dendro damage dealer. Let's talk about artifact. There are many artifact sets he can use, and for Sands you need to have elemental mastery for every set you use. In Sand, elemental mastery is a must. His whole attack kit depends on what you are using on the Sand. If you have him C6, then you can use attack Sands on him if you want. But even at C6, elemental mastery Sands will do more damage, so this is very important. For a goblet, you need to have a Dendro damage bonus goblet. And for circlet, you can go with crit rate or crit damage. It will depend on what you need. So the first set we are going to try is Flower of Paradise.
Witness the power of Gua.
Watch and learn. Come at me. Sight clear.
This will end you.
The highest bloom damage he is doing is around 10,000. It is not bad at all. And if you look here, he did 18,000 and 11,000. So you can go with this set if you want, but only if you have good crit value on it. Now the next set I am using is Gilded Dream. It's another good set for him if you have good critical value.
Watch and learn.
The biggest damage is around 10,000. It's the same as the Flower of Paradise. Not much of a difference. So between these two, you should go with the one which has more critical value. The next set we are going to try is the 2-piece set. Both of them give us Element Mastery. You can use a Wanderer 2-piece set if you want.
Scanning.
Now this set deals 13,000, and it's not even a full set, so you don't really have to go for a full set if you don't have it. You can just use 2-piece set if you want. We will try 2-piece of Gladiator set. You can even go for full Gladiator set if you want, because his damage is coming from nothing but a normal attack. Again, its damage is around 10,000. It's not getting lower, but it's not going up as well. Maybe the next artifact set will change it. We will go with 2-piece of Deepwood.
Ring cutter.
Breaking new ground. Sight clear. Come at me.
He did 19,000. That is a really big difference. Again, it's 2-piece combination, and he is doing great with it. Now we will go with a full Deepwood set because it's also a good set for him.
I see everything. Witness the power of Gugwa.
Feast your eyes. Come at me. Keep tricks. Sight clear.
Well, it's actually doing less damage than a 2-piece combination, but again, it's near 10,000. Now let's go with a full Elemental Mastery set. We will use Elemental Mastery in each piece. We have Elemental Mastery over 800.
Witness the power of Gugwa. Huh?
I'm ready. Feast your eyes. Isn't over.
Again, the damage is around 10,000. He is doing 10,000 for every set. This feels like some curse. His main damage comes from his elemental skill, while his elemental burst is active. Even if it's not active, it's the same damage as Dendro Course. Let's try a full Gladiator set. At this point, I believe he will do 10,000 again.
Ring cutter. Huh?
Feast your eyes. Come at me. This will do.
He actually did it, but it came from normal attacks. The biggest damage we saw was with 2 Deepwood and 2-piece set of Elemental Mastery. So this is how he is actually working, because 2-piece Deepwood gives him more Dendro damage. Now let's talk about weapon. We already used a crit value weapon. You can use Serpent Spine if you want, but again, these 2 weapons are for critical value. You can use any one of these weapons to balance your critical value. Mailed Flower can be his best weapon as free-to-play player.
Make yourselves a home. Everyone will his. Ring cutter. No, my sword. I'll protect us.
Watch and learn. Scanning. Come at me. I've been through worse. Sight clear.
With a full team, he does really good damage, and he is quick as well, and I only have him at C3. It took him 39 seconds to kill these 4 monsters. Now we will go with Tuna Fish. Its passive is very good for Kaveh.
I see everything. Witness the power of Gugwa. Let's dance.
Feast your eyes. Come at me. Sight clear.
It actually worked better than the Mailed Flower, since he only took 27 seconds to finish it. But again, my Mailed Flower was only at level 60. If it was at level 80 or 90, it would have also worked like this or even better. Rain Slasher gives Elemental Mastery as sub-status, but its passive does not benefit Kaveh much. Even though it gives Elemental Mastery, it's not that good for him.
Come at me.
As you can see, his burst couldn't end these monsters. We will not try the bell on him, because it's pretty much useless for him. The next weapon we will try is Favonius' Great Sword. With this weapon, his energy recharge problem will be solved.
Get yourselves a move. Let me weave you a verse.
Watch and learn.
Not only he is doing good damage, but his elemental burst is full again. But here comes the problem. His elemental burst cooldown is higher than its use. So even if it's full, you have to wait for 8 seconds to activate it again. Little things like these make it hard to use him as a main DPS. Now this is another good weapon for him, but since it's at level 0, it's pretty much useless right now. If you have it leveled up, feel free to use it because it's better than Rain Slasher for him. This weapon's passive makes it very good for Kaveh. So the next weapon we are gonna use is the Sacrificial Great Sword.
Get yourselves a move. Witness the power of Kaveh. Know my sword. Let the show begin.
Watch and learn. Scanning. Come at me.
Well, even at level 50, it worked really well. Now the reason for that is because it can cool down your elemental skill. And Kaveh's main source for damage is his elemental skill, which can burst Dendro cores. That's why it makes it a very good weapon for him. And he only took 26 seconds to kill these monsters. So you can go with a male flower if you want. That's his best choice for free-to-play players. If you need more crit value, then you can go with crit weapons. If you have 5 stars, you can try that too. But here is the thing. His burst only lasts for 12 seconds, so you need to make the most of it. Weapons like Sacrificial Great Sword work great with him. He does have energy recharge problem, but since you have to wait 8 seconds for his burst cooldown, then even if you have it full, you won't be able to use it anyway. Things like this makes him sub DPS rather than the main DPS. Now let's talk about teams. We have already tried 2 Dendro and 2 Hydro. That's best team for him, since his main point is to burst Dendro cores. The more Dendro cores you have on the field, the more damage he will do. You can use any Hydro character you have. I use Barbara and Xingqiu, but you can use what you have. It will do the same thing. Now this team is not bad. As we can see, it's doing good damage, but it is not creating more Dendro cores, and some of the cores are already used because of Electro. But this team does good damage, and that's what matters. You can use Baizu and Raiden if you have. With Raiden, it will make a big difference, because she can be your main DPS, and you can use Kaveh as sub DPS. Because while you wait for Kaveh's elemental burst to cool down, Raiden Shogun can be on the field and generate a lot of energy for the team. If you don't have her, you can use Oz. And for Baizu, you can replace him with a Traveler. But this team will not have any healer, so you can use Kuki instead of Oz. And for Xingqiu, you could replace him with another Hydro character. But here is the thing. Characters like Mona will be hard to use since she needs to stay on the field to apply Hydro. So a character like Ayato will work great since his burst lasts for a while. Teams are very important for Kaveh. If you are planning to use him as the main DPS, let me show you why is that. Now on the outside, this looks like a good team for him, but that's not always the case. Now look how this works. Team is doing good damage, but that damage is not coming from Dendro cores, but from Pyro and Hydro combination. You can use Zhongli if you want, but again, he will not help with creating any Dendro cores. But for sub DPS Kaveh, this team will work great. He can come out once in a while, deal some damage, and leave the field. Now you can change Raiden Shogun for Lisa or any other Electro character you want. But teams like this will not work for DPS Kaveh, because Lisa can't deal big numbers like Raiden. So the best team for Kaveh is 2 Dendro and 2 Hydro. You can use Nahida if you have her. If you don't have her, then you can use Traveler. Xingqiu and Barbara are the best combination for you as a free-to-play player. You can use Yelan and Kokomi. If you have that combination, it will deal more damage. So this is how you can build your Kaveh. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe because I only have 10 subs at the moment.